A better Nigeria, is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria?
Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only reason for being an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr. Red.
Of the nation and challenge for emerging leaders, and we told you that this is a special independent episode, yes, for Nigeria that turns 59 on Tuesday. So where did we stop?
We're still trying to
digest. Okay, so when we were trying to put up the program, okay, we thought that maybe we should talk a little bit about major events that have happened in maybe 2019. Then maybe we'll use it as a yardstick and then see how that affects us as a country, socially, politically, economically, and all of that. So first of all, I think there's this research here that that's kind of like, I don't know, that brings we had the general elections in this year, 2019, and this research states that the 2019 general elections remains one of the most contested elections since the transition to democracy in 1999. The elections, beyond the higher number of candidates highlighted, it's more competitive and all of that. Well, highlights states that there were a lot of young people who came out as candidates and as voters. So do you think that this is let's say, the right step in the right direction?
That conclusion of that research is flawed.
Okay.
Flawed in the sense that if that is the most competitive, there was no competition. It was a two-horse race.
Okay.
That a lot of young people came to contest. There were no contenders. They didn't threaten anything. They didn't challenge anything. It was a two-horse race. And it wasn't different from what we've always had, the overriding power of the incumbent.
True.
That's the reason why the likes of Goodluck Jonathan will always remain golden. He has a special place in our annals. That's the first, incumbent in Nigeria that considered defeat. So it was a step backwards. We don't even know, and everybody in Nigeria, that was a consensus. Atiku won't get anything in court. So what has changed? So when they said it's the most competitive, that's flawed. There was no competition. Even there was an interview given to the president that if you lose, will you concede defeat? He said, no, I can't lose. You don't go to a game and say you cannot lose.
That says a lot.
So that says a lot. So, again, we shouldn't have hope where there's no hope. Right? Don't, if I say, Shinkishi, there's nothing because it doesn't mean anything. Right? But if I say pizza, you might start getting hungry. Yeah. The way Law is looking at me is as if he likes pizza. So it's. But if I produce something and I call it, Shinkishi, now it has an identity. Yeah. You see, we're just, Nigerians have an ill-informed hope. They have this enthusiasm that is not based on an educated mind. We don't even know what we are looking for. Because what we are looking for stares us in the face, but we live in denial. Somebody had to go and dig up something I posted about this, restructuring maybe about 3 years ago, and shared it again. There is no other way forward because Nigeria is looking for herself. We must have, my own prescription has been we need to have not even united regions, united tribes. Does that mean all tribes in Nigeria within their own tribal spaces are united? No. No. But that's the beginning. That's the beginning. So because when we say regions in those days, not all the regions speak the same language.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when we had regions where you have Edo and Delta today, they were part of the Southwest.
Yes.
They don't speak the same language. They don't. So we're not looking for something perfect now. But let's start and know that we are headed in a realistic direction. Every young boy, girl, man, woman out there, this must be on our lips. Because the potential that's in us will not be able. I always give an example. If you are a cocoa farmer and you live in Sokoto, you will never prosper. Is it that something is wrong with Sokoto? No. Is it that something is wrong with cocoa? No. But cocoa farming in Sokoto will not work. Yeah. It won't work. You can't superimpose economic development on this structure. It will never work. Because for every Nigeria, you are either a Hausa first before you are a Nigerian. You are either a Yoruba first, Igbo first. Even within the Yoruba itself, within the Hausa itself, there are other, sub-tribes, clans, and all those kind of things. That had to be, because we say, if I look at the lie that we are a federation, this is a unitary system of government. Simple, O-level government. O-level government. Right? Not even political science. O-level. I've forgotten the book they use for government now in secondary school. Yeah?
Is that sure?
That's it. This is unitary system of government. In a federation, we shouldn't be discussing state police. Nigeria is the only country where a state has a legislature. They make laws and they don't have law enforcement agency.
Yeah.
Is that not simple enough that we have a problem?
Sure.
Right? A governor has a problem, in a state. He calls the commissioner of police.
Yeah.
The commissioner of police will have to talk to the IG. And you call the guy the chief security officer of his state. That's a lie. That's an illusion. And everybody, we are okay and we are hoping. It won't work. That's why you have xenophobia. And nobody can talk for Nigeria. Right? Yes, because xenophobia is not the fault of the xenophobic. It's the fault of the one that is being xenophobed. We'd like to joke about everything in Nigeria, but I'm serious. I've been to the South African embassy at once when I wanted to travel there. You need to see the crowd and the age group of Nigerians trying to get a visa to South Africa. I was thoroughly, angrily embarrassed. There is no embassy you go to in Nigeria. The place is full. Nigerians go everywhere. We need to ask a question. Why are people living here?
Yeah.
Why are we living? It's not the xenophobia, as bad as it is. But the way to cure it is to stop the bleeding. What will make a young Nigerians doing drugs and those kind of things, and that's every country does drugs.
True.
Every country. It's a global business. It's not a Nigerian. It's not a Nigerian distinctive. So it's not the way to approach xenophobia. You can do all the politics if it's possible. Get people to impose sanctions on South Africa or blah blah blah. You can do all that, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Why should a Nigerian want to go and live in Ghana, want to go and live in South Africa? There's a massive population of Nigerians in Zambia.
Wow.
Yeah. We go everywhere. How many foreigners are here? Yeah. How many? And these young people who are still comfortable, the only way you want to do is run away. Go to Thailand. Go to all kinds of countries as long as you are not here. You see somebody that says, I live in Sierra Leone, and you respect the person. There are some Nigerians who are richer than Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
The person too says live abroad.
Well,
Living abroad has become something everybody kind of. Yeah. I've told Nigerians that I've met abroad and if you live here till you die, right? You will never be accepted. You are still a foreigner. Even if you have their passport, you have their citizenship and everything, you are still a foreigner. True. And I've interacted with many of them. They are not happy because they can't live in their country. Yeah, they are not happy.
Okay, sir. Someone said that Nigerians are so laid back to the extent that if you push them to the wall, they break the wall. They break
the wall and then they continue to lay back.
Yes. Yeah. And you mentioned xenophobia. What is the effect of xenophobia on our national identity? Although you've mentioned already that we don't have an established identity. And then how should young people, the emerging leaders, how should we interpret these things?
That's what I just mentioned, Joseph, that it calls for some self-audit. That how did we get to a point when Nigerians will settle for any place as long as it's outside? No. Yeah. In spite of all the huge opportunities and potential that's in this country. I tell my friends I live abroad, if Nigerians are calling you for money, they are richer than you. The guy said, I know. I've seen that. I said, Nigerians, you are not as rich as them. The Nigerians that travel maybe for holidays, and the money they spend, those who live there cannot afford it. Yes, they can't afford it. They cannot. So it's a call for self-audit, right? It's that how did we get to a point where, and when you begin to ask those kind of questions, it should generate, the reason Nigerians are laid back like that is because we have not put ourselves in a position where we can generate enough anger, right? Not anger that will lead to violence, but anger that will make informed, sustained demand for that better Nigeria. Our government officials are too comfortable. They do things and they get away with it. And they are not accountable. They do things and, it's so, because we have a culture that's very patriarchal, right? We respect elders and all those kind of things. Even in the monarchy, the king does not have absolute powers. There are ways by which kings can be removed. So there is no human being that really has absolute powers. But these guys are beginning to, from experience, they're beginning to see that we can do anything here and get away with it. Because anyone who stands up to say, I want to fight for something, they have discovered that they have a price. They can easily buy the person. Right? The person can easily become a tool. Right? Because you listen to some guys about this show where they say it's good for him. When this one. These are the issues. Everybody seems to have a price because little is, it attracts us. And that's something that can be positive. If little attracts you and you are satisfied with little, it can also be termed as being contented. And you see, for me, Nigerians are very easy to govern. They don't ask for much. But it's as if we're just in a place where the guys that govern this place are incurably greedy. In a nation where politicians are the richest, that's a serious problem.
But is it about people not wanting to stand up, or they are scared too?
It's because of, you'll be scared if you are alone. Because those who stand up, are isolated. We've not been able to build a critical mass. And we have also been dribbled to a point that the only way we can make a change in society is to be in government. That's why everybody wants to be president. Everybody wants to be governor. That's just one side of the coin. That we have a good president is not a guarantee for development. We must also have a good structure that holds the president accountable. And as long as everything that happens in the country, we mention the president, it's a problem. Again, that brings us back to the structure. Something happens in my state, I call the president. Our governors are just sleeping. Because we talk about derivation, we talk about all these kind of things. The money that goes to states, if it is used to develop the states, even if 50% of it is used to develop the states, will be. I mean, I just read the figures of recent that we need 100 billion, I don't know whether it's naira or dollar, yearly, for us to bridge the infrastructural gap. When I got to this town in 1997, 1998, it's only about 2.5 hours to drive to Abuja from here. It's now 5 hours.
Really?
Yeah. 2.5 hours here in Abuja. Yeah. From here. It's now close to 5 hours. You do 4 if you are driving like crazy. And if you don't know that road and you drive and you travel at night, there is a 90% chance you will have an accident. 90%, if not more.
And then apart from accidents, herdsmen, kidnapping,
exactly.
And robbers.
So these are the things. If 50%, so nobody's even talking about. Okay, bad enough. States go to Abuja every month to go and collect money. What do they do with it? Pay salaries, right? So it's a structural problem. If the road that goes in front of my house, if it's the responsibility of the councillor to fix it, right? I don't need to go far before before I see the guy. But if it's Buhari that's going to fix it, that's the problem. Every little thing the president comes to mind. The most contested office is the office of the president. There is something wrong. There's something wrong. And until we address it, we'll come here again next year. We'll say, oh, Nigeria is 60. And then there will be celebration pomp. It will be like, I was sharing yesterday somewhere that when we were in 1970 or 1973, when we turned 10, they gave then we were in primary school, everybody one bowl of rice with one tiny piece of meat on top of it. I just remember the white bowl, with white spoon. We ate it. We were very happy. 10 years. 1973. Yeah. No, it was 1970. Sorry. I was in primary 2 when we were 10 years. Yeah. So, we were very happy. Maybe we eat rice too next year when we are 60. But that's sad. Very sad.
Okay, I think we'd have to draw the curtain here.
Every time we talk about Nigeria, it's as if we end on a depressive note.
Yes.
And please don't make it happier, because that's the way it should be.
We should take that spirit
it
out
should
there.
End on a depressive note. Yeah. It should end. Nigerians, we want to bring out the comedy. Let's make us. You are not Nigerians. You are not permitted to be happy. You are not permitted to be happy. You should be depressed, angry, because that's where it starts from. There's a leadership consultant who said, transformation it happens when there is a discontentment with the way things are, a dissatisfaction with the way things are.
So it looks like we're not dissatisfied enough.
So because Nigerians love prayer, may you not be happy as we celebrate 59 years.
Okay, so it looks like our old man, what would I say, our guy who is 59, I don't know, has not learned how to work.
He's still sucking thumb.
Oh, I think that's very pathetic. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Answers with Dr. Raju. Hope you got a lot from this episode. Okay, right now I'm feeling this thing in my chest. I don't know what it feels like, but it's this, okay, go out there and do something better. It looks like we're actually not doing great right now.
Yeah,
we're not.
And mentioned that we shouldn't do anything in isolation. I think when we begin to mobilize ourselves and share common ideologies, that's when we can start. I was every time we're having this program, there are people I make sure that they are listening to us. That was what I was doing. I was sharing links. Make sure you're listening. One of them is presently in Egypt. He sent me a message that he has been following from the beginning. So I always want young people like me to listen, so that when you're out, when we want to go out to do something, you're not standing alone. We have people, and then our strength, just like the African proverbs that said a single broom cannot sweep. So I think thank you very much, sir. You're helping us, and we'll make sure that we don't disappoint you.
Thank you.
AWDR is a school, and I hope you had a nice time in school today, because I did. Do also send your comments and questions through any of these means: WhatsApp or text message on 0814-456-9000, 0814-456-9000, Facebook at Dr. Reju Answers, Twitter at AWDR Twitter at AWDR_Jos, or on our website at answerswithdrreju.com. Answers with Dr. Reju airs every Thursday by 4 p.m. on Patrice Radio. Do well to download our app at Play Store. Remember, a repeat airs every other day by 4:30 p.m. on Rhythm 93.7 Jos by 4:30 p.m. My name remains Lois, and my co-anchors are you forgot my name already. Agnes and Joseph. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye.
This is Patrice Radio.
Give us a call or chat us on WhatsApp on +234 8144 56 9000. Check out our website and interact with us on www.answerswithdrreju.com. Like our Facebook page, Answers with Dr. Reju, or send us an email at answerswithdrreju@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at Dr. Reju Answers. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Answers with Dr. Reju, where you can get all our episodes. Join us again on Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified.